Hey church, I wanted to talk to you about a theme that I see from the Apostle Paul in some of his New Testament writings. And it's a theme that I draw out of a statement he gives on joy. It starts in the book of Philippians where he says, in Philippians chapter 4, verses 11 through 13, he says, "I don't say this out of need, for I have learned to be content in whatever circumstances I find myself. I know both how to make do with little, and I know how to make do with a lot. In any and all circumstances, I've learned the secret of being content, whether well fed or hungry, whether in abundance or in need. I'm able to do all things through Him who strengthens me." You may have heard that passage before. The book of Philippians, one of the common themes that we draw from the book of Philippians is joy. And in fact, in the beginning of chapter 4, verse 4, here's what he says as he starts out chapter 4. He says, "Rejoice in the Lord always. I will say it again. Rejoice." And there's a theme from the life of Paul that I get about joy. It is a theme that I call defiant joy. The Apostle Paul exhibited defiant joy. Right? It was a joy outside of his circumstances. It wasn't just, I will be joyful if things are going my way, but I will be discontent and upset if they aren't. And the Apostle Paul, he exhibits this because prior to this, he writes something that I think is incredible. It's something that we should put into context to realize this is a man who was defiant in his joy. If you've ever read 2 Corinthians chapter 11, you will have run across what I call his laundry list of troubles and trials. And it starts in verse 23. These are the things that the Apostle Paul endured, yet he can write Philippians and tell people to rejoice. Listen to this. Verse 23 of 2 Corinthians chapter 11. He says, "Are they servants of Christ? I'm talking like a madman. I'm a better one, with far more labors, many more imprisonments, far worse beatings, many times near death. 5 times I received the 40 lashes minus 1 from the Jews. 3 times I was beaten with rods. Once I received a stoning. 3 times I was shipwrecked. I spent a night and a day in the open sea. On frequent journeys I faced dangers from rivers, dangers from robbers, dangers from my own people, dangers from Gentiles, dangers in the city, dangers in the wilderness, dangers at sea, and dangers among false brothers. Toil and hardship, many sleepless nights, hunger and thirst, often without food, cold and without clothing. Not to mention other things, there is the daily pressure on me, my concern for all the churches, who is weak and I am not weak, who is made to stumble and I do not burn with indignation." He gives us list, right? All these different things that he's dealt with, these infirmities, these things that have taken place in his life. But then he goes on to write in Philippians, "Rejoice. Again, I will say, rejoice." And so I see a theme here of defiant joy. That is a joy that is beyond circumstance. It chooses joy because no matter what happens in your life, there is something to be joyful for. For example, the cross, in which on the cross Jesus Christ exchanged our sin for His righteousness. I know that sometimes you wake up and if you're like Garfield, it's a Monday. You don't like Mondays. Or you wake up and things aren't going the way you wanted. You're having a really bad day. Whatever the case may be. But I encourage you to pray and ask for God to give you strength to have defiant joy. A joy that is not dictated by your circumstances, but it's dictated by the God who brings you joy. So rejoice. Again, I will say, rejoice. God bless you.